Hello there guys, and welcome back to Let's Learn Civilization. I don't really have a particular agenda for this video. There's nothing specifically that I want to try and talk about or explain. So I'm going to continue just playing through the game naturally and basically just talking through what I'm doing on each turn. If anything interesting pops up or happens, I'll do my best to explain it and shed some light on it. But until then, I'll just be playing through normally and basically just commentating like a normal Let's Play. I've covered most of the things that I want to do in this series so far. So we have a great person, which just happens to be a great musician. Now, we could create a great works, which would be a good thing. The only thing you can really do with great musicians is either create a great works or take them into another civilization and get them to play a concert tour, which will give you a one-time tourism boost. Only really useful if you're playing for a cultural victory, which I am not. So let's create a great work, which will improve our culture per turn slightly. It's only gone up from 65 per turn to 67 per turn, but that's not terrible. The fact that you were denounced by the Zulus no longer holds any sway with other leaders. So what this basically means is, yes, the Zulus denounced us, but the Zulus have such a bad reputation, nobody cares what they think. Egypt and Germany have signed a research agreement. Nantes needs to do something now. We could go for a temple and a market with them. Let's get them doing some food. Let's get them doing something. Now, Edinburgh's currently putting their production as science. I just want to have a little look, see if there's anything there that I need. There isn't particularly, but what I wanted to do, because there are a couple of things that we could do. We could vastly increase our production with an ironworks, but we'd need a workshop in Glasgow and Cork, which we could do. Now, it may seem like a bit of a waste, because I'm taking them away from science research, but there is some method to it. Where's the workshop? 580, can't afford it. So we'll build that in there when we can, and Glasgow's down here somewhere, isn't it? It's that one down at the bottom. That's certainly not quite ready for one yet. So what I'm actually going to do, let's just have a quick look and check that I can. This is the only problem with playing several games of this at the same time. I can never always remember what's actually going on from one to the other. I'm going to build an archaeologist, just so I can basically show you guys what we do with them and how they work. And then hopefully we'll get those remaining 2 factories built, and then we can build a workshop here, increase our production, and then we can convert that back into science. We also want to increase our culture as well, because there are still a lot of good things that we can unlock with culture. So basically, Germany wants me to give them all of my gold. Well, no, not really. So what I'm also going to do when that archaeologist is finished, I'll probably build a couple of archaeologists so I can show you the 2 different things you can do with them. But I also need to build another caravan at some point, because we could actually have another trade route. And we don't have a massive amount of money coming in. So Truro demands gold. I was convinced at one point we were getting gold from somewhere. Maybe I'm mistaken. Yes, we were originally getting gold from Tyre, which we are currently no longer because we don't appear to be their ally. So let's give them some gold. Wow. And we're still not their ally. So who's been... The Greeks. I need 18 more influence. Right. I didn't want to hit next turn there. That was a bit of a stupid mistake. That was a misclick. What I actually wanted to do... Open borders with Germany, that's fine. What I actually wanted to do there was check where my spies are, because maybe I could put a spy in there to try and rig the elections. Getting gold from them is quite useful to the happiness of my empire. I mean, I could just pay them off. But if the Greeks have a spy in there anyway, it's counterintuitive, really. We have killed a Greek spy who was stealing technology, so that's a good thing. Yeah, we've got one guy in Athens, which I'm tempted to leave there because he is basically keeping an eye on things and make sure the Greeks don't try attacking me. So what I'm going to do here I'm going to give them some more gold. That gets them back on my side. Gives me the gold back, which gives me some more happiness. Alexander really needs to stop doing this. So once again, we're going to let the transgression slide until we actually need to do something about it. Now, there's not really a lot that we can do with Cardiff that is really useful. Do I have any trade routes going to or from Cardiff? I can check this by going to additional information and going to the trade route overview. Now I can see that all of my trade routes actually originate from Dublin or Edinburgh. So Dublin and Edinburgh are the only two places that actually need to have the caravansary, so don't need to really bother building one at Cardiff. There's nothing really there that I need to build. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a caravan because it's only going to take 2 turns. Now that doesn't mean that the trade route has to emanate from Cardiff. I can assign it to a new home and send it back to Edinburgh, which is probably what I will do. It just means I can produce it there instead of having to wait for that archaeologist to finish, which will be next turn anyway, so it's not too much of a bad thing. We are getting very close to World Congress. Now, at the moment, it's about 15 turns between each one, but they do get shorter and shorter as the eras go on. So, let's forgive him again. He's blatantly posturing. I mean, he does not care. I think that's about the 4th or 5th time in this playthrough that he's stolen from us, and he keeps apologising, but he keeps doing it. So Truro enters a Wheel of the King Day, which helps them with their growth, which is brilliant. Glasgow is now in need of some work to help it sort of build up. What we're going to go for is we're going to go for the lighthouse because that will help us produce with the production of food from coastal tiles. What we're also going to do, none of our coastal cities are really at that point yet. Oh, I can see that the Greeks have. We know the Greeks set up this little island over here now. Halicarnassus has just popped up. That's nice of them. So what we're going to do is I need to build a workboat somewhere as soon as I can afford to. Build a workboat and we'll get it on these fish here because that'll give Glasgow some additional food. So that archaeologist is finished. I'm going to make another one. And a unit needs orders. And we've got ourselves an archaeologist. So what we need to do is find ourselves a archaeological site. And there's one there within our own borders. So we'll track on over to that one. Get all that distance using the roads. And then it takes 1 extra turn just to move that 1 space. That's not too bad. So we've gone to the next turn. Again, all of my workers are on automation. I don't really think they've ran out of things to do yet. So we'll keep them at that. Right, what's he doing now? Right, the Zulus are coming to me because they want my help in fighting with the Egyptians. No. Not really. Because, you know, the Egyptians are my allies. For the time being. That could change. Okay. So, let me get my science window back so I can actually see what I'm researching. Electricity, 1 turn away. So, let's move our archaeologists onto the dig site. Or onto the antiquities site. And the only option they have is to dig. And that's going to take 9 turns. So, it does take a little while. So, we'll get that going. And we're already producing our second archaeologist there. We have completed our caravan there. There's nothing else here that's really worth doing. In fact, we'll do the amphitheatre because we will get some additional culture from it and we'll get a great writing slot. So it is worth doing that. We're going to take our caravan. We're going to change home city. Change the home city to Edinburgh. And we can't do anything with it on this turn because that counts as its move for this turn. So Douglas has finished whatever it was building. Now, ideally, we need I'll need a lot of these things. Factory, the hospital, public school, they're all going to be useful. We're going to take the factory for now. We're going to do the same thing at... oh, actually, no, it's not the factory we need. It's the workshop, isn't it? We need the workshop at Cork. Well, that's fine. We'll be doing that soon anyway. Factory's always good because factory increases production. And production is interchangeable with science, which is a very important thing. We've now maxed out on our number of trade routes, which is fine. Well, we will have on the next turn when we can actually get that last caravan going somewhere. And then we can see how much money we've got coming in. Right. we have electricity, which now means that aluminum or aluminium from the UK gets discovered everywhere on the map. That will start popping up. Well, if I click on one of them, it'll show you where it is. So yeah, I've got some here, which is currently under a farm, but that farm can be converted into something else. I've got probably, yeah, there's another bit there as well. So quite a bit of aluminium around. Peace treaty with Shaka has ended. Well, that's fine. Doubt we're going to go to war again. So what I'm going to do at the moment is have another quick look in the technology tree. Probably the best thing to do really for me would be going into steam power, because steam power would allow me to go into railroads, which is very useful. Also need to do dynamite as well, and then we can get flight. So, or do we go for radio and try and improve our culture across the board? Always difficult to know what to go for. Submarines could be useful as well, and we can get stadiums. Hotels. So now starting to get into the buildings that actually give you a chance of winning a culture victory. Because in order to get a culture victory, you need tourism, and things like hotels and things like airports. Those are the things that actually allow you to increase your tourism. See, an airport, landmarks, Moine Chateau added to the tourism output of the city. Tourism output from Great Works plus 50%. And then you've got a hotel, gives you the same bonus as well. And they do stack. So there are reasons for doing these. But we're going to go for steam power. That will give us access to the ironclad and also faster embarked movement. So if we do need to get our soldiers out in the water, they will travel more quickly. Nantes has also finished their production. So let us go for the market for now. So we are coming up close to turn 300, which is still only sort of, 3/5 of the way through the game. There's that caravan that needs its orders. So do we trade with another city, or do we use it internally to try and increase the growth of somewhere? I say we use it on Sparta, 9 gold per turn, and we'll be putting religious pressure on Sparta, so why not? Let's do that. We're not getting any religious pressure back. So yeah, turn 300 is only technically 3/5 of the way through the game. Considering if you've been watching this video series and we're already currently up to about the 9-hour mark, there's still plenty of turns left in order to get a victory. It is possible to win a victory within 100 turns. Okay, so the Zulus have gone to war with Egypt. Although I think that our defensive pact has now expired, so at least we don't have to get involved with that, which is fine. Just going to have a quick look at the score. Of course, we can do that from the diplomacy screen these days. My score is 1,030, which is just slightly ahead of the Zulus. But if the Zulus are going to keep going to war with people, providing they don't keep winning, it's probably going to slow them down. Now, I really need to get a scout over here so I can see what's going on, because I have no clue what's going on this side of the map. And if we look over here, we can see there's a massive portion of the map we haven't discovered yet. Ramses manages to have settled another city over here in land that used to belong to Brazil, which the Zulus wiped out, because there's the Zulu capital. The Zulus wiped out the Indians and Delhi, which is over here. In fact, Delhi's still there, but now owned by the Zulu. And all the Brazilian territory was up here to the north. But there's this massive expanse of clouds that we haven't uncovered. Obviously, America's in here somewhere as well. So I think what I'm going to do, probably not at Cork. Cork will build a workshop, because that's what we need to do. I'll actually do it from Edinburgh, because it'll be nice and quick. We need somebody that we can use as a scout. So we're going to use a lancer, or should we use a cavalry? Actually, yeah, we'll use a cavalry, because cavalry is our mounted unit. It'll have the fastest movement. Obviously, at this point in the game, we can't produce scouts, but, it doesn't matter too much. We'll use the cavalry. Cardiff might as well build a Selid Hall. Why not? Our economic advisor and foreign advisor both recommend it, and it will help with the happiness. We need to keep that happiness up. We've got a stack unit now because we've got an archaeologist here on top of a caravan, which shouldn't make any difference really. So what we need to do is find another archaeological dig site. And let's go for this one, because this one's actually outside of our borders. I mean, it's not always going to be outside of our borders. It will move in. Actually, let's have a look. Are there any better ones? I know I've moved them now, which is kind of a bit pointless, but there There is this one down here, actually. Let's just move these guys down and see if this is safe. If it is, I'm going to move my archaeologists down there on the next turn, actually. Because even though I've gone for one that is outside my borders, it could become inside my borders because it is within the 3 hexes of Douglas. So that probably wasn't the best example. My borders are never really going to expand wide enough to capture this one. So we'll go for that one instead. So we've got a caravan here that previous trade route was with Florence, but let's trade with Tyre because that will help it keep on our side, and we can also keep the religious pressure on it. Go on to the next turn. So this is a weird thing, right? He wants to open borders. Well, we are friends. Let's go for yes, and it'll also help me moving through his territory so I can have a look what's going on over on this side of the map. So the weird thing with grand strategy games is they start off very early where you are basically just clicking end turn constantly because nothing's going on. And then you start getting into a state of play where you're almost constantly having long turns. Okay, we've got the porcelain tower now, which is great. Great scientist appears near the city where the wonder was built. 50% more science generated from research agreements. That is fine. So yeah, the turns become longer, particularly if you're at war. A single turn can take ages if you're at war. We're not currently, so they're fairly quick for us. So what are we going to get Dublin to do? Well, I think what we're going to get Dublin to do is a museum and a stock exchange as quick as possible. I'm not really getting anything from Athens. I don't really know what's going on with them. And they're producing the Circus Maximus. They are a threat, but not an amazing threat. They seem to be heading a lot towards culture, but I think we're okay for now. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to move that spy from Athens. And I am going to put him in Tyre. And hopefully we can just keep rigging their election and stop losing them as our ally. Now, once again, we have a great scientist. Do we expend them now and get an instant 3,000 science, or do we build another academy? Well, building an academy is probably not all that useful. 20 turns, if there's 200 turns left, times 20 turns, that's only going to give us 4,000 science, providing it's worked. And we can get 3,000 from him almost instantly. So let's go for that, because we don't even know that the game will last another 200 turns. It may not. At least that means we have finished steam power. And we're going to go on to flight. Now, the main reason for that is, if we do get attacked, having the ability to bomb the attackers really makes life a lot easier for us. So the reason I was moving these guys around is I just wanted to check to make sure the area was clear and safe for our archaeologists. It appears that it is. It's a shame we can't get access to anything down here, because it would have been nice to get this oil. We've got aluminium down here. We've also got some more incense, but it's not the end of the world. So the Zulus have finally entered the industrial era. A porcelain tower constructed for Monaco, that helps. So Berlin's actually ahead of everybody as far as culture goes at the moment. If we actually have a look at the cultural overview, and we go to influence by player, we can actually see how everyone is doing. So if we actually look here, this is for myself, for the Celts. My current tourism output is 4, because I've done absolutely nothing whatsoever to try and, raise this number. So you can see what my tourism output is compared to the culture of each of the civilizations. So my culture is basically non-influential because my tourism is so much lower than their own culture. If we go to somebody like Greece, you can see Greece's influence level over various other cities. Greece has a bit more output, tourism output. Their tourism output is 12. We look at Germany, for example. Germany's tourism output is 20. So it's, probably one of the highest on there. Let's have a look at the Zulus. The Zulus is actually quite low and falling, probably because, a lot of people are going to war with them. But no one's really anywhere near a cultural victory at the moment. And you have to be influential over all of the remaining civilizations in order to win a cultural victory. So I'm not too worried about that. We can get these guys upgraded as well now. We can get these knights upgraded to... is it going to be... What's it going to be? Yeah, cavalry. Requires gold. I might do it. We'll wait till those archaeologists get down there. For the time being, we'll leave them down there just in case any barbarians turn up. Got another caravan that needs sorting out. I really wish there was some mechanic in this game to just set a caravan to automatically renew its trade route unless something changes. So, you know, if a city obviously disappears, or you have to go through a war zone, or you're no longer friendly with the person you're trading with, that's fine. But if it's just a case of having to renew, it is a little bit of a pointless thing to have to worry about. But not too much of a problem. So the culture's gone up again now. I mean, if you remember before, we were getting 67 culture per turn. We're now getting 83, so that helps quite a lot. Science isn't doing too bad. It could be a little more, but we will be putting Edinburgh back onto science production when we can. Got our upcoming session. You always get a warning when you're 5 turns away. So the Americans want to ban spices, and the Germans want to enact historical landmarks. So it could be that Germany's trying to go for a cultural victory, actually. Words. It would make sense for them to go for a cultural victory, because they do seem to have the highest tourism output. I don't have any spices anyway, so if that passes, it doesn't really bother me. Okay, so we'll go on to the next turn. So what I could do is assign a couple of delegates to each one, and at least both parties will then feel that I'm on their side and voting for them, even though it doesn't really make much of a difference to me either way. He wants to carry on giving me 5 gold per turn for dies. Let's see if we can get him up to 10. 8. 7. 6. 5. Okay. Fine. Well, it was worth trying it, wasn't it? See if I could get some more money out of him as he runs his knights through the middle of my capital city. Oh, yeah, that's right, isn't it? They've settled that city up here. Cheeky bastards. Okay. So, we've discovered another city-state. Better late than never. I don't know why I can't get my words out today. Found a barbarian camp. That's absolutely miles away, so I'm not too worried about that. My scouts are actually still alive. I was wondering about that. I actually still have scouts. Now, the Zulus here appear to have an absolutely colossal army, and they're also attacking, like, everybody. But that's good. That's good. Well, not good that the Zulus are attacking everybody or that they've got a massive army, but it's good that I've actually got close to their territory. I honestly thought they were dead. So, that'll teach me. I should check more often. What are we going to do here at Cardiff? Well, we might as well do a stock exchange and get some extra gold coming in. Edinburgh has completed its cavalry, I assume. So we're going to go for a police station now and do our best to try and reduce any more technology being stolen from us. Another caravan there that needs telling what to do again. Now, this was trading with Athens. It's still getting religious pressure back from Eastern Orthodoxy. Not too much of a problem at this point, because we're only getting 6 pressure from Eastern Orthodoxy, but we have 48 pressure from Voltology, from all of our other cities and trade routes, so that's absolutely fine. There's our cavalry, so... Right, can we get through Greece? Well, not really. This is a little awkward, because the Greeks are basically sealing off the borders now. We can get through. We've got this faster embarkation. So let's see if we can bypass Greece and get into German territory, and then we should be okay. So we're pretty much landlocked at the moment because Greece has got the entire mainland cut off from us, which is a bit of an issue. Not terrible. So we've got a great artist. We can start a golden age. We're quite a way off from one, and that will increase production and gold and culture. So, yeah, let's start a golden age. We're going to get plenty of great works because we have the ability to make archaeologists, so don't have to worry too much about that. Let's go on to the next turn. Need to start getting some of these units upgraded as well. I've got, like, old pikemen knocking around. I think one of the reasons I haven't been upgrading them is that I've been trying to save the gold. Right, okay, that looks like the Zulus. Are they going to take that barbarian camp? Oh no, some more barbarians have just arrived in it. I was just thinking maybe I can run in there and swipe that, but if the Zulus are just busy with the barbarians, I'll just let my scouts carry on doing their thing. That's absolutely fine. So, Nantes has finished whatever it was doing. We'll get them onto a bank or public school. Bank or public school. Let's get them onto the bank. If we get enough money rolling in, we can actually use the money to buy the schools. I'm going to upgrade these pikemen to lancers. And I'm also... Well, I'm going to wait till those... what have we got there? That's a German caravel. Wait till those archaeologists get down there, and then we'll get those knights upgraded as well. Well, yeah, get those knights upgraded to cavalrymen. So the archaeologists are almost there.
Is the following trade of interest to you?
Right, let's help America out with a loan. So, you know, America borrowing off the will essentially become the British doesn't seem right, but okay, we'll go with that. This game is never claimed to be historically accurate. So let's just wait for our next turn. Ooh, this is interesting. Glasgow is starving. It's because we're being blockaded by barbarians. Good luck with that. Well, they're almost dead. Haven't got too much to worry about there. So let's get the archaeologists on here. Same options as we got before, which is construct a dig site. So that's what we're going to do. Now that they are here, we shouldn't have to worry about any barbarians spawning. So I'm going to move my knights back over here to this oasis tile. Glasgow should be okay once we get rid of these guys, because obviously these guys are currently on our fishing tile, which means we can't work it, so we'll get rid of those very quickly. I see that Greece have expanded this way nicely and nabbed that stone, which is a little bit cheeky, but see, this is the thing. If I was to produce, if I had any boats in here, I mean, I don't have any coastal cities on this coast, but if I had any boats in this area, I wouldn't be able to get them out because they'd have to go through Greece's territory, but they can cut through Glasgow, which isn't such a bad thing. So Dublin needs to build something. We're going to go for a stock exchange because that will help with gold again. Don't need to worry too much about a police station in Dublin because so far from what I can tell, every time we've had something stolen from us, it has been from Edinburgh, which makes the most sense. You normally try and steal from the biggest city. That's where you're most likely to get the technology from. Cork is a very small city, so we're just going to start building up these other things that will help to give us happiness. Yeah, we've got ivory nearby, so we can use that. So I'm just going to use these smaller cities. I'm not worried about getting them to build every building or getting them to try and produce a lot of science output. They're just going to keep building the little things that give the Empire happiness and stuff. So these archaeologists have finally finished here at this dig site, and if we click here, we'll be given several options. We can either create a Celtic artifact, and the artifact will be placed in the nearest great works with an art slot, and it provides 2 culture and 2 tourism per turn. The archaeologist gets consumed. Or we can change it into a culture landmark, which gives us 1 culture. Well, it gives us +1 culture based on its age. So for every era older than the Civ's current era, it will give us an extra 1 culture per turn. And the archaeologist is always consumed. Occasionally, you may have more than 1 type of artifact. So let's say that we find... Let's say we go to this area here, which I notice now the Egyptian city, down here on the minimap where my little mouse cursor is over here. This is where the Egyptian city was. Well, before then it was Brazil, but now that city has disappeared. So it looks like the Zulus are doing a good job of wiping them out. But let's say we found like this site here. If I was to dig this site up, it may well have Zulu and Brazilian artifacts, because it's where a war has been waged between the Brazilians and the Zulu. So the options might be Brazilian and Zulu artifacts, and I could choose which one to pick. Which one to pick. As you can see, this is plundered ancient ruins, beads plundered by the Celts in the ancient era. So not this one, the one where my archaeologists actually are. This one here. So this is the ancient era. Think how many eras we are through now. I think we're about 5 eras on from the ancient era, so we'll be getting 5 culture per turn. So we're going to create the landmark, and the reason I'm doing that is because this one is within my borders. Because it's in my borders, it means I can work it. So as you can see, it's still outputting 2 food per turn because it's grassland, but it's also outputting 4 culture per turn because of the age difference between the archaeology site and the current era. So, right. Need to keep moving these guys up because I need to try and find a way where I can get into German territory. And I think I can. It's going to take a turn or two to be able to do that. Still a few barbarian camps around. Although that could... I would assume with it being within 2 tiles of another civilization city that has been destroyed. It's just we can't see it at the moment. So... Okay. Ah, Dortmund. Okay, so we have found a way through into Germany. Let's just have a look over here. Right, did we take that barbarian camp? Because it's gone, and our guys are on this tile where it was. Surely we didn't take that. No, it was eliminated by somebody else. It wasn't by us. Oh, well. That would have been strange if we'd have nabbed that from under the Zulus. So, nothing much happened on that turn. Let's go on to the next one. As you can see now, we actually have a supply of 11 aluminium. So our workers who have been left unautomated have been running around and constructing aluminium mines. They've been doing very well there. A unit needs orders, which is those guys. We said we were going to upgrade them, so let us do that. I do apologise about my voice today. I think I've got a little bit of a cold coming. So I do apologise for any sort of squeaks and throat glitches in there. Okay. So again, another uneventful turn. Oh look, barbarians are back. Sod off. Right, that's them dealt with. Although Glasgow's still not doing terribly well. Let's have a quick look at the scores again. Yeah, still beating Shaka. I mean, I am sort of pulling away from him slowly. But yeah, he's taken out another city, which is a bit of a pain. So, Edinburgh, what do we go for here? We might as well go for the museum and the stock exchange. But what do we get for the Brandenburg Gate? We also get culture and great scientist points as well. So we get a great general. I'm not really bothered about a great general, and I'm not really bothered about 15 extra XP for units built in the city. But on the other hand, getting an extra culture and having 2 more great scientist points will really help with the science output. So let's go for that. Truro is going to build a harbour. Let's just get it building all of the essential stuff. So I've only got 2 delegates. Let's put 1 on each of them, and then at least the Americans and the Germans will know that I was trying to help both of them out. I've got a unit that needs orders, which are these guys here. Now, I can actually put them on automated explore. Problem is, I can't guarantee they'll go where I actually want them to go. So what I'm going to try and do is traipse them through the middle of Berlin, uncover some of America, because, you know, America situated next to Germany, and then head out over in this direction, try and find out what's going on with the Zulus over there. Put those guys back on sleep, they're fine for now. Go on to the next turn. Hopefully Glasgow will no longer be starving.
Trade of interest to you?
Yeah, we will stick with that. I'm not too sure if it's all that important, really, because if we get attacked, it's not like America's in a great position to come and help. They're too far away, and vice versa, but we'll see what happens. Zulus want us to accept an embassy. I'm going to go with no. Although if I did, at least it did make it easier to see their cities and stuff. We'll carry on with that, because we've got plenty of dice to be selling off to other people. We just happen to see Greece's borders expand a little bit there. So some of the other civilizations have actually got lots and lots of cities. So both of those things in Congress passed, and we've killed an American spy this time.
Okay.
We'll let it slide. I don't need to start going to war. It's not what I am trying to do. So let's have a harbour at Cork and get it connected to the rest of our trade network. And we have another archaeological dig site. So again, this one is another plundered ancient ruins, plundered by the Celts in the Renaissance era. So Assuming that I could actually turn this one into a landmark. I mean, I can turn it into a landmark, but I can't work it because it's not within my own borders. I could turn it into a landmark and it wouldn't get as much culture per turn because it is essentially very close to the area that I'm currently in. So I'm going to create a Celtic artifact, and that will automatically be placed in one of my great work slots. If I go to the culture overview, I will now see that somewhere in here, there we go, it's that one there, we have a statue. It's a Celtic statue from the Renaissance era, and that generates for us 2 culture and 2 tourism. Now, it's been placed in the museum in Dublin, and there's another slot there. So if I manage to get another Celtic artifact in that slot, I would actually receive a bonus, a theming bonus. And also, so as it says, to maximise your bonus, make sure both great works are of the same type, both art or both artifact, both from the same era, and either both from the city's civilization or both from civilizations of the same that same city owner. So I'd get a bonus if they were both from the Renaissance era. I'd get a bonus if they were both artifacts, which they are. Well, they would be either, because a great work can be an artifact or art. So I get a bonus if they were both artifacts or both art. I get a bonus if they were both from the Celts or both from Greece or both from Germany, it's the same civilization. And I get a bonus if they were from the same era. And they stack. So if they were 2 artifacts from the Celts in the same era, I'd get like 6 as a bonus, because it's usually two for each, I think, or 4. So whenever you see you've got things grouped, you can have 2 things in the same building. It's always worth trying to mix and match. And the thing is, if you haven't got another artifact, you can trade with another culture. So you could swap great works. You could look at somebody else and find that America is willing to swap this great work of art for another great work of art. An attack on Beijing Castle during the Boxer Rebellion. So it's from the medieval era. And this allows you to... It is just like collectible cards. You know, they have something that isn't as useful to them, which you can use, and you can swap it with them. Okay, let's forgive him again for spying on us. And hopefully we'll have flight on the next turn. I can't help noticing that we've lost influence with Tyre again. I'm almost convinced that the Greeks must have a spy in there. They must do. I'm losing influence with them far too quickly for it to be anything else. Either that or Greece is just throwing such a huge amount of money at them. So we've discovered flight, and a new spy has been recruited, which is because we've moved into the next era, which is fantastic. So we're going to move that unassigned spy back into Athens and keep my eye on them. Though I have just lost Athens somewhere. There it is. As a diplomat, so I can keep my eye on what they are doing. Actually, as well, let us... What are 85% chance of a successful coup? Let's try it. Yes, so... Operation will have an 85% chance of a success. Let's give it a go. And it was a success. So we've now managed to get Ty back onto our side without having to spend any money at all. We're going to go for dynamite because it's one of the low things we still need to research, and that will then give us access to rail. Douglas is ready for a new construction project, so let us go for public school. Let's start trying to build the science up. We are going to go for the other things as well, to get happiness and various other things up, but it is worth trying to get everything as much as you can. So America's thanking us for backing their recent proposal, which we knew they would. It's the reason why we did it. Processing turn for the Zulus. Still not much going on up there. And the Greek tried a coup in Tyre and failed, which also means they've just lost another spy, because a failed coup ends up in the spy getting killed. Good, good. Douglas loves the king. Let's have a quick look over here, because I'm interested now to see where my... Oh, they're there. Why are you there? Yeah, they can't move through Zulu's borders. That's the problem. We are neutral. So let us offer embassy. He likes the idea of embassy. That's good. He probably won't open borders. I'd be very, very surprised if he does. No, he won't. That's what I was trying to go for. I think the problem these guys have got is they can't actually go through his borders, which is a bit of a pain. So Truro is going to grow in another turn, and it needs to do something. So I think we are going to go for... what would be the best thing? Let's get it a seaport. That'll give it some extra production, which will be useful because we will convert that to science later. It is one of our older, larger cities. We'll be doing that. Cardiff can have a... well, let's have a hydro plant. That will give it +1 production in every tile next to a river and requires 1 aluminium. Well, we've got plenty of aluminium. Every tile next to a river. Well, let's have a look. We've got 1, and it's tiles both sides within our borders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've got 8 tiles next to a river. So having a hydro plant here would give us 1 happiness and 8 production. So, well worth having that. Another caravan that needs being told what to do. Okay, back off to Athens. Could have traded with America on that one, actually, for slightly less religious pressure. So, I think we'll do one more turn, because we are coming up to a point now where I should have another social policy soon. Okay, these guys have got where they were going, so let's continue... let's continue to traipse them through the middle of America. Well, they only I didn't make them a full turn's worth of movement, that's why. So we'll go on to the next turn. That will give us the ability to start another social policy. What's Greece doing? Greece has taken back its guarantee of protecting Tyre. Yeah, I wonder why. So, on to our turn. May adopt... oh, we've met another city-state. We're going to adopt social policy. Now, we could go into our ideology. We could add another level 1 tenant. There's nothing really here that would... I mean, some of them are useful, you know. Increasing the great person rate by 25%. Reducing the cost of purchasing buildings are all good. We could add a level 2 tenant. Now, some of these are actually... particularly useful. Factories increase the city's science output by 25%. Build factories in half the time. Food production, science, gold and culture is increased in every city. Or we could actually go into rationalism and pick some of these things here. Great scientists around 25% faster. These things are very, very useful for us. And mouse just went weird there. I think what I'm going to do on this occasion, though, I'm going to back a little bit on what I said. I am going to go for the workers' faculties, because that will actually give us quite a bit of extra science boost, and it will help because we are now building a lot of factories, and we've got plenty of coal to build a factory everywhere. So that's what we are going to be doing. Dublin's pretty much done everything that it needs to do. Not really a lot of point in doing anything else. Could build a police station. Might be worth it, actually. Even though we don't need to worry too much about having technology stolen from other cities, if you have a police station built in every city, you can build one of the other wonders later on. And I can't remember which one it is. It could be the CIA headquarters. I cannot actually remember off the top of my head. So... I'll have to, actually, I can quickly find out by having a look at the tech tree. It's going to be in here somewhere, if I can remember what it's under. It's not under atomic theory. It's going to be the information era, I would assume. Where are you? No, maybe it's not even that far up. Can never remember where half the things are in the different tech trees. Great Firewall will be good. Is that the one? Maybe the Great Firewall will be... no, because all of the cities in the civilization get a 25% reduction. Yeah, it's not that one. There is definitely a building, though, that requires you to have a police station and a constabulary built in every every city. Just cannot remember where I get it from. But it will pop up at some point, so it'll be worth having it when we can get there. National Visitor Centre, that's more of a cultural victory thing. No, I'm actually completely lost now. I cannot find where it is, so it'll pop up at some point, no doubt. So we have moved the game on a fair few turns now. We're starting to expand and explore out. Hopefully we'll find out what's going on down here with the Zulus. Nice to know that I have got my scouts still alive over the other end. Admittedly, they are kind of sort of trapped in, but they're still alive. They're still looking around. We're starting to get a lot of the buildings built now. We're getting to a point where most of our cities actually have built all of the useful things they can for now, which means we can put them back on to science and research. And you've seen now how the archaeology works, the two types of things you can do with an archaeologist. Hopefully when we come back on the next video, we will be able to wrap up the some of the buildings that we're producing and just start getting as much culture and gold as we can, building those buildings quickly, converting our production into science, and then using culture to go through the rationalism tree and increase our science output. Even though on the technology tree we're in the modern era, and there's still like 2 eras to go, which does seem like a lot, but what you've got to remember is every time you move up, it does go quite quickly. We can easily reach the end of the technology tree before turn 500, and you don't actually need to get right to the end of the technology tree in order to get a scientific victory. So still plenty of chance that we can do that. That's still what we're aiming towards. I don't think we're going to go for diplomatic victory as our secondary objective now, because there are just too many city-states that we only have influence over one, and I don't have enough of an income because I haven't concentrated on sort of trade, so I don't have enough of an income or enough spies to be influential over enough of these city-states to get a diplomatic victory. But I still think we can win. I still have the highest score. Admittedly, we're only just above the Zulus. They probably do need to be taken down a peg or two. 317 of their score comes from their population. So they've got a bigger population than me now, surely. 204 from technology for me. Their technology is only 164. Does anybody else have technology anywhere close to that? No, so I am definitely leading the way on technology, so that's not a problem. But I certainly think that somebody needs to try and take the Zulus down a peg or two, because they are in a position now where they're starting to grow a little bit too much. Although it still says I have the highest population, which is very strange. And Egypt does seem to be struggling now, although that again is strange because they've got at least, well, what can we see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because that's got to be a 5th city that those borders belong to. So there's 5, 6. They've got at least 6 cities. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. Let's keep our eye on these guys as well, because I've got a feeling that their missionaries are going to be coming our way later on, and we'll be having none of that. And we have got this oil now, so not too bad at all. We're making progress. Oh, there, see what I mean? They could just be passing through, but I'll be keeping my eye on them. So we are making progress. I'm still confident that we can get a victory. And I hope you guys are still enjoying the series. Remember, again, if you do have any questions, either send me a message or leave them in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. As I said at the beginning of this, I don't claim to be an expert in the game. I do know it fairly well, and I've played it an awful lot. I know most of the mechanics, though there are a few bits and pieces I do have to check from time to time. And occasionally you guys pose me a question that I don't know the answer to, and I'm quite happy to go and experiment or go and look it up, and sometimes it even surprises me, but I will always do my best to find out for you and give you an answer one way or another. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. So until then, goodbye for now.